Welcome back to this Moneycontrol live stream. You're watching Closing Bell with me, Nandita Khemka.
And I'm Yatin Mota.
Well, Yatin, we started off on a strong note, on a strong footing where we reclaimed that 22,100 mark. But, towards the end of the session, we flattened out. In fact, it was a volatile day for the market. And, the point to note is the fact that, we have reclaimed that 22,000 mark more than once in the last 1 week. It's just that we're not being able to sustain at those levels, Yatin. But the broader market outperformance continues. We also have the RBI policy to look forward to tomorrow. Of course, it is expected to be a status quo policy for a 6th straight time. And given the fact that the interim budget has just gone by, no fireworks expected. But of course, a section of the street believes that we could see some bit of a shift in the stance. Whether that comes by this time or in April, we'll have to see. But it's the commentary of the RBI governor that will be of importance. But ahead of the RBI policy, PSU banks, Yatin, have been in fine fettle. If you look at the top Nifty gainer today, SBI, that stock has gained nearly 4% in today's session. The PSU banking index is also up somewhere around 2.5% or thereabouts. And realty also has a pocket, Yatin, up 2% or thereabouts. But if you look at the rest of the markets, as I mentioned, broader markets showing outperformance. IT and auto sectors, after yesterday's big gains, they saw some bit of profit taking. Advanced decline ratio at 1.3:1 among the other Nifty gainers, JSW Steel, Hindalco, so some of the metal names, and HDFC Life continues to rally. On the flip side, Power Grid numbers just came out a few moments ago. And Infosys, Tech Mahindra, TCS, all the tech names that saw big gains yesterday have reversed and came under a fair bit of profit booking. But Yatin, lots of action and gainers in the mid-cap end of the market. Paytm has rebounded today.
Yeah, Paytm is rebounded and that stock moved nearly 10% in trade today. But other movers include East India Hotels, which is EIH Hotel. That stock was up 20% post the strong numbers. Trent, and this Tata Group company has shown yet another strong quarter led by growth in Zudio, 18% up for that one. Now in the banks we have IOB, UCO Bank, all of these stocks moving by nearly 17-18%, and Yes Bank, Nandita, this stock has seen record volumes, market capitalization touching nearly 80,000 crores, and that stock are up nearly 17.5%. So a bumper move coming in for Yes Bank. What did not do well post earnings is NLC India. Naval Lignite was down 10%. Sirma SGS down 8%. AI Engineering down 6% post the numbers. So a lot of result reaction also in trade today, especially in the FNO space. We saw Navin Fluorine also dip nearly 5.5% post earnings. So that pressure really continues on all of these stocks.
Right, Yatin. Of course, those were the movers and shakers in the mid-cap end of the markets. But on that note, let's take a look at the top stocks that are on our radar this afternoon. Of course, Yatin, you were mentioning Trent, led by Zudio and Westside. Of course, numbers have been extremely good, a beat on all counts, stellar numbers, so to say. A profit has jumped 140% on a YY basis. Revenue, if you look at that, 50% up move coming in the revenue growth on a YY basis. Margins have also come in at 18% vis-a-vis 14% last year, right? And the company has maintained that gross margin profile for both Westside as well as Zudio have shown a consistency with earlier trends. And if you look at the store count, as of 31st December, the store count for Westside was at 227, 460 Zudio, as well as 28 stores across other lifestyle concepts. And in the quarter gone by, they have added 5 Westside stores and 50 Zudio stores across 36 cities, which includes 13 new cities, Yatin. So they have expanded their reach also. And other fashion concepts, the like-for-like growth for other fashion concepts has been around 10% on a YY basis. And emerging categories like BPC, like beauty and personal care, innerwear and footwear, all these segments contributed 19% to the company's standalone revenue. And if you look at the Star Bazaar outlet, Yatin currently has 67 stores and it reported an operating revenue growth of 26% during the quarter. And all of that growth has come from like-for-like stores with strong volume growth. Company also sees Star Bazaar as a key contributor and key additional growth engine in their portfolio, and management says that they will continue to expand and deepen its store presence. Look at the stock over the last 1 year, 200% kind of an up move coming in, and in the last 6 months only it has doubled. So it's from the Tata group of stocks, this is one more stock that has done extremely well.
So that's about Trent, and that stock moved 20% post the earnings. What did not do well post earnings, Nandita, is Navin Fluorine, and as I mentioned earlier in the opening remarks, that a lot of pressures on the margin front. We have Jefferies, which has a whole call on Navin Fluorine. The target has been cut by nearly 500 rupees post the earnings to a level of 2950. Now, the reason here is that the management still believes that the destocking in the global agrichem space does not augur well for the company, and management has in general turned slightly cautious. Now, the company continues to face product deferrals on subdued demand. We have the negative operating leverage also kicking in because the production and the overall volumes for the company have declined. In fact, Jefferies has cut the FY25 EBITDA estimates by nearly 28%, and they expect that the recovery probably could be in FY25 end. So we have to still see, for the next 2, 3, 4 quarters, that how really does the global supply chain really move with respect to the stocking which is already there. Obviously, Navin Fluorine, if you talk about core products in the fluorochem space also, there also we are looking at some demand pressure and pricing pressure, and that is expected to continue moving ahead. So I think in the conference call, the management also sounded slightly cautious on the outlook, because of which the shares ended in pressure for the trade today, ending by nearly 6% lower.
Right, that's about the chemical stocks. Of course, Yatin, even UPL, we keep talking about it, disappointing. Plus, Moody's has downgraded UPL, yesterday. So that also remains under pressure. But let's talk about the other stock that's on my list, Delta Corp. Game is not over for some of these online gaming companies. It's game on, given the fact that sources suggest that the government may soften its stance on the retro GST demand notices that it had issued to online gaming companies. In fact, government has realized that the existential issues that these gaming companies face if they have to pay such huge tax raised for July 2017 to March 2023. In fact, government has, according to sources, government has sought legal opinion on how to get out of this tussle with the online gaming companies. In fact, government also sees merit in argument that a company cannot pay unrealistic tax demands, because of course that will be an existential, or that will pose an existential threat to these gaming companies. But between September and October 2023, Delta Corp was slapped with multiple GST tax demand notices of 23,000 crore rupees, and of this 6,300 crore rupees worth of tax was pertaining to Delta Tech Gaming, on which the Calcutta High Court had given some bit of interim relief. Now, Delta Corp has Adda 52 under its subsidiary Delta Tech Gaming, and of course, as I mentioned, the total tax shortfall was 23,000 crore rupees, out of which 6,300 was pertaining to Delta Tech. If you look at, that is of course some bit of relief coming in on the GST tax demand is something that would be good news for on all these gaming companies. If you look at the profitability and numbers for Delta Corp, it had come out 1 month ago, 59% down on PAT, and management had also indicated that if there is no scope to scale up the online gaming business, then they will pivot to the realty business, right? Because they already have a JV with Peninsula Land. So that is something that the management had indicated at in their interview after earnings, and that too in an interview with CNBC TV 18. But if you look at the stock, it is down nearly 16%. So any kind of relief coming in on the tax demand from the GST authorities would be good for some of these companies, and we could see some bit of rebound already in the stock prices. Today, Delta Corp, for example, was up 10% in trade. So we'll have to wait and see what kind of relief the government really doles out. But that would be a good, a big good news for some of these online gaming companies, Yatin.
Absolutely, and Delta Corp, probably will come in the F&O curve as well, because the open interest moved more than 100% of the market-wide limit. So probably this stock, after this momentum, could see a breather in trade tomorrow. But yes, as you mentioned, the tax case, if they get a relief, I think it will be game-changing for the entire industry, not only Delta Corp.
Well, those were all the stocks that were on our radar, but just want to remind our viewers, 10 a.m. tomorrow, of course, the RBI governor speech starts. After that, we will be getting you live and extensive coverage on the policy with a battery of experts. So don't forget to tune in 10 a.m. But before that, of course, you'll have 8:30 a.m. Morning trade with all your queries. I'll be back with guests, and of course, we'll be taking up all your queries as well. So tune in for that as well. But for now, it's a goodbye from me and Yatin. Thanks a lot for watching. Stay tuned to Moneycontrol for all your other news and updates.